We're back. Krusty K's here with the Go Boys Network coming with the slate preview for May 21st. Had a little problem with my sleep schedule, so missed out on the last one, but we're back for this one. Let's jump right into the slate. Got the New York Mets taking on Cleveland Guardians. This is Adrian Hauser versus Carlos Carrasco. Warning now, this slate is very large, but there are not a lot of good pitchers going, so it's going to be interesting. And this one for me, you get Adrian Hauser, who pitched in relief in his last outing, so I'm not really sure what kind of leash he's going to have. He is pitching on normal rest, so I mean he might be good to go because there's only like one relief appearance. But overall, I do like runs here. This total is sitting at 9.5, which I already felt was pretty high, just given the state of both these offenses. So I like runs. I like the over 9.5. I think we see both these guys get touched up. In terms of Ks, I mean, we saw Lively and McGill both go for, I think it was 7, which I don't think anybody expected that, truthfully. Here, I don't really expect a ton of Ks, but I'm not willing to bet the unders just with the current states of these teams. So I'll go small lean in the unders on the Ks, but I'm probably not playing anything here. Our next one is the Milwaukee Brewers taking on Miami Marlins. This is Robert Gasser versus Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers looked really good in his last start. Went 5 innings against the Tigers. Probably the first time he went 5 innings, I think, in like a month. Looked really sharp. So here he gets kind of a weird spot because Milwaukee's striking out quite a bit, 25% over the last 2 weeks versus lefties. But they're also crushing left-handed pitching with WRC plus of 142. So for me in this one, I'm going to roll with the Milwaukee Brewers on the money line. Gasser hasn't been great, but he's a bit of an unknown for a lot of these teams because it's their first time seeing him. And Miami overall just not hitting WRC plus below 80. K percent right around Milwaukee, like 23.5%. So Gasser could probably get a few Ks here. Keep this Miami team in check just because they're simply not hitting right now. And I do expect Rogers to have a bit of a tough outing. I won't be surprised if he covers his strikeouts just because of how Milwaukee's been lately with the strikeouts. But I think he gets touched up. So give me Milwaukee on the money line and a small lean over to Rogers Ks. Okay. Our next one is the San Diego Padres taking on Cincinnati Reds. This is Joe Musgrove versus Andrew Abbott. You got to give me the Padres here on the money line. Only minus 125, which I feel like it's a great price getting him on the road. Musgrove, obviously, overall, hasn't been great this season, but he looked really good against the Reds. I think it's largely due to the fact that team just simply cannot hit any sort of ball that breaks. Curveball, slider, sweeper, you name it, they cannot hit it. And Musgrove has a pretty good one. So I expect him to pitch well here again. I like his strikeouts. Curious what the line's going to be because he had 9 against them in his last start. But anything like a 5.5 or like a 6.5 plus money, I'd definitely be in on that. Do love the Padres here, like I said, on the money line. Abbott, I'm a little concerned about him in the close proximity start. Doesn't have nearly the pitch arsenal that Musgrove has. So typically these guys only have like 1 or 2 consistent pitches. They struggle in these close proximity starts, and I could definitely see that here. Our next one is the San Francisco Giants taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is Logan Webb versus Martin Perez. Tough spot here to back Logan Webb because he's on the road, and as we all know, it's just not a place you want to back him. So in this one, I'm going to go with the no runs in the first inning, the Nerfy. I like both these pitchers to get us 3 outs pretty quick here in the first, and we can go about our day, count our money, and move on. I don't love strikeouts from either guy here, just not 2 guys I typically target for Ks. And Webb is a guy who, as I mentioned before, if I'm going to target him for really anything, it's going to be when he's at home. So don't love anything here for him. In particular, Martin Perez, not a big K guy in my opinion, and he's going to need an umpire who's pretty generous on the corners to even get him a few strikeouts here. So biggest thing for him, though, is he does get a Giants team that on the road is averaging like 2.5 strikeouts more per game than they do at home. So a low enough line, I mean, I guess I couldn't tell you no, but it's not something I'll be taking. So give me the Nerfy, and we'll go about our day. Our next one is the Texas Rangers taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. This is John Gray versus Ranger Suarez. Oddly enough, John Gray may be the most consistent pitcher on this Rangers pitching staff right now. And this is just a tough spot for him. Gets the Phillies team who, as we all know, white hot at the plate, crushing pretty much anyone and everything that they see. So I like the Phillies here. I like Ranger Suarez to continue to pitch well. Gets a Texas team that, while they're not striking out, which doesn't make a big difference for Ranger, he's not trying to get strikeouts anyway. They're not hitting. Batting average is like right around 220 versus lefties over the last 2 weeks, but WRC plus is just 80. So even when they're getting guys on base, they're not generating any runs off of that. So I like Ranger to continue to pitch well here. He's done a great job of limiting base traffic, and when guys do get on, he's done a great job working out of it. I think that continues here. He's at home. I just expect another dominant performance. Give me the Phillies on the money line, and very, very, very small lean to John Gray over his strikeouts. I don't love it. Philly's been kind of tricky, especially at home. They've been pretty K-adverse, so it'd have to be a pretty low line for me to get involved. Best prop angle here, I think, is a Rangers Suarez pitching outs. Rangers bottom 10 in pitches per plate appearance, so should be quite a few quick at bats, and keep his pitch count down, allow him to go deep into this one. Our next one is the Minnesota Twins taking on the Washington Nationals. This is Joe Ryan versus Patrick Corbin. Twins are a -190 on the money line on the road here. Interesting price, but I kind of get it. I mean, it's Joe Ryan. Definitely looking for a bounce back performance after his last start where he got touched up against a tough Yankees team. I think this could be the spot. Obviously on the road, and he's been better on the road this season. So I am going to back the Twins here. I'm likely going to go with a 5Ks or a 6Ks and a win, whichever one gets you close to even money. Like I said, there's no odds out yet, so I don't know for sure. But it's going to be 5 or 6 strikeouts with the Twins money line. I think it's a good look. I think he can get it done for us. I think he just has more success here than Pablo Lopez did. Joe Ryan's pitch mix is 5 pitches deep. He throws a split change, which is a pitch that not a lot of guys throw, and I just think it's a pitch that's really going to have these Washington hitters off balance. So I like him to pitch well here, I like him to bounce back. And Patrick Corbin, I mean, Twins really aren't hitting lefties that well right now. They're hitting righties a lot better. But Patrick Corbin's due for one of those blow-up games, in my opinion, so this could definitely be the one.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Next one is the Boston Red Sox taking on Tampa Rays. This is Cooper Criswell versus Zach Littell. We just saw his pitching matchup last week, so right back to it. We're going with an Murphy. No runs in the first inning. I like these two guys in the first inning. They've been really good first time through the order. I expect that to continue here. Get us our 6 quick outs, get us some cash, and we can keep it moving. In terms of Ks, small lean to Littell under. He didn't look great in the last start against the Red Sox, and I just think in close proximity, it's only going to get worse. So I like his under. Cooper Criswell, his line's going to be low, so it's tough to back the under with him, but I'd lean that way as well. Our next one is the Seattle Mariners taking on the New York Yankees. This is Brian Wu versus Clark Schmidt. And for me here, I'm going to roll with the Yankees. My line's a little juiced at -155, but in my opinion, it's the best way to go. I don't love laying the run line with the Yankees, just one of those teams where I'm just not a fan of it. Do like the money line, though. Think they get this one handled. Brian Wu, I believe it's his 3rd start back from injury. He's looked pretty good. Not great. Obviously still on a bit of a pitch count because they're being careful with him. He's so young. This Yankees team just clicking, man. Dangerous. They got to Logan Gilbert in this last game. I think they can get to Wu here. And Clark Schmidt, for whatever reason, has just been absolutely outstanding. Been dominant against both sides of the plate, really. Could see, obviously, an extremely high K lineup here. So Clark Schmidt strikeouts, I think, are definitely in play, as much as I don't want to say that because I don't like to back him. But I don't see how you don't take his strikeouts here. Our next one is the Chicago White Sox taking on Toronto Blue Jays. This is Garrett Crochet versus Yusui Kikuchi. I don't love this game overall. Crochet, obviously, a guy I like to back, but it's a tough spot here against Toronto. Not striking out at all against lefties. Not really hitting particularly well the last 2 weeks, but we all know this lineup is built to crush lefties. So will I be surprised if Crochet gets touched up? No, not at all. But I do like Crochet. Like I said, his stuff's good. In terms of xFIP and a lot of the expected stats, he's one of the best in all of baseball. So for me here, I'm going to roll the first 5 under. It's going to be scary. It's going to be pretty low. The game total is 7.5, so first 5 is probably a 3.5. But I like Kikuchi to pitch well against this White Sox team. Obviously throws a lot of off speed, a lot of breaking stuff. And this White Sox team, they're susceptible to those pitches. Haven't seen a lot of lefties in terms of good K stuff, so I'll be interested to see what his Ks are at. I definitely think Kikuchi over his strikeouts could be in play here. Crochet, like I said, I would lean under on the K's, but I can't pull the trigger there. His stuff's just so electric. He could, strike out anybody. So small lean to his under, don't love it. Gonna roll with the first 5 under here. I think it's the best look in this one. Our next one is the Atlanta Braves taking on the Chicago Cubs. There's Charlie Morton versus Javier Assad. I don't know who made this schedule, but these teams just consistently playing the same teams over and over again, and we're constantly in the same pitching matchups. I don't understand it this year. For me here, Braves favorite on the road. They're just in such a weird travel spot because they had to play a doubleheader, and now they got to travel all the way to Chicago. So I'm gonna roll with the Cubs. We're gonna have a plus money here on the money line, and that's good enough for me. They had a day off, so they're rested. You have a Braves team who had to play. They played Sunday Night Baseball, then they played a doubleheader, and now they got to travel from Atlanta to Chicago, and then play this one. It's just a really tough travel spot for that team. I could see them resting a few guys. Could see definitely some tired bats here, and I think Javier Assad has been outstanding. So give me the Cubs on the money line. I think they get this one done. Also, couldn't talk anybody off of Assad K's. I don't love it just because of the close proximity, but like I said, tired bats, tired legs, whatever you want to call it. This Braves team is going to be in a sleepy spot for sure. Our next one is the Detroit Tigers taking on Kansas City Royals. This is Casey Mize versus Alec Marsh. Royals Tigers, we all know where I'm going. First 5 under. I like this look with these two teams. Neither team hitting particularly well, and these pitchers just seem to be able to pitch well against these teams for whatever reason. So I'm going to keep up with the trend. It's been working for us. So I'm going to stay on it. Give me the first 5 under here. Don't love either guy for their Ks, just not two guys I like to target. Mize under strikeouts, I think, is a good look. Alec Marsh, I would lean to the under, but I'm not going to get there against the Tigers personally. What's going on, everybody? I just want to take this moment to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Sleeper Picks. Thank you for sponsoring this video, and don't forget, you can use code GOLDBOYS for a $500 deposit match on your first deposit. Thank you, Sleeper Picks, for sponsoring this video. Now back to the bets. Our next one is the Baltimore Orioles taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. This is Kyle Brash versus Lance Lynn. And the first thing that jumps out at me is Lance Lynn, and I want to take the Orioles team total over. Obviously heavily reliant on the fastball. Throws 3 different variations of it: sinker, cutter, four seam. And this Baltimore team can absolutely tattoo all 3 of those. So I like the Orioles team total here. I think they put up 5-6 runs relatively easily. Also like Bradish to pitch relatively deep in this one. His pitching outs I think are definitely in play. Lance Lynn under his strikeouts as well. I think it's a great look. I think a lot of people saw what Sonny Gray did to this Baltimore team, and they're going to be trying to jump on the strikeout train. And I just don't think Lance Lynn is that guy in the spot. Pitch mix just isn't versatile enough. And like I said, this Orioles team, can hit the fastball. So he's in a tough spot. I think he gets lit up, and I think he stays under his strikeouts here. Our next one is the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Houston Astros. This is Griffin Canning versus Christian Javier. I always have a hard time with Javier because he gets these Astro prices, and I just don't know if he's deserving of them. Minus 210 on the money line. I have zero interest in laying that. But I think that's where we're going to go. We're going to go with the Astros minus 1.5. Griffin Canning just hasn't been good this year. Chase rate way down. Whiff rate way down. Not missing bats like he was. And I think this Astros team can get to him here. Javier has looked pretty good. Looked really good in his last start, albeit against the Athletics. I think that carries over here. You get an Angels team just, flat out not really hitting right now. Good spot for Javier to continue to pitch well and continue to come back from an injury. So give me the Astros minus 1.5. Our next one is the Colorado Rockies taking on the Oakland Athletics. This is Cal Quantrill versus Aaron Brooks, and this could be one of the grossest games I've ever seen. I'm going to go with Oakland here. I don't like it, but I think they pull this one out. Aaron Brooks, the one thing that he did well when he was in the majors and in the Korean Baseball League was he get guys to expand the zone. Chase rate, 36.3% through his first start. I believe in 2022 it was 32.4%. So right around there, where he's pretty much on par with what he was when he was in the majors, a couple of years ago. And you get a Rockies team who leads the league in chase rate and bottom 3 in chase contact. So just a great spot for him to keep this team off balance, keep his team in it. We saw he has the leash, and he looked really good against the Astros, truthfully, a lot better than I expected. He did give up some runs as to be expected. It is the Astros, But you get a Rockies team here who obviously doesn't have near the firepower of that team. And if he's pitching the way he was, I think he pitched well. Cal Quantrill been on quite the run here. Just masterclass after masterclass. And this Oakland team, they're pesky. So I expect them to be able to put the ball in play, make Cal work. Command's been a bit of an issue for him. So I like Oakland here. Like I said, it's going to be gross, probably a 3-1 type game in my opinion, but I think Oakland gets it done. And if they happen to hang an Aaron Brooks 3.5 K line again, I would be all over that. Because like I said, this guy, the one thing he does well is get these guys to expand the zone. And you get a team that expands the zone more than anybody else in baseball. So great spot for him if you get the right line. Our next one is the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on Los Angeles Dodgers. This is Brandon Pfaadt versus Gavin Stone. Gavin Stone has looked really good. Definitely impressed me here much of the season. Brandon Pfaadt, been a mixed bag. Looked really good in his last start. Played the Reds, so we can't put too much into that. But in this one, I am going to roll with Dodgers, excuse me. Gavin Stone, like I said, he's impressed me overall. This Diamondbacks team against righties just hasn't been great. Brandon Pfaadt, a guy who on the road I have zero interest in trusting. It's a Dodgers team who, as we all know, one of the best hitting teams in all of baseball. They're not expanding the zone, and I think they're going to give Pfaadt a ton of issues here. This is a guy who, when he's not hitting his spots, walks will pile up. The command just goes out the window, and this Dodgers team is going to smell blood in the water and feast. Gavin Stone, like I said, has looked really good this season. Gets a good spot here against the Diamondbacks team that just flat out, below league average. Putting the ball in play a lot, but not hard contact and not really, getting any runs off of it. So give me the Dodgers here. It has to be probably on the run line, -1.5. And that's fine with me. I think they get it done. I think they win by 2 or more. And we can go about our day with that one. And that does conclude this slate, though. If you guys do me a favor, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys are playing. I always love to read them. Let's get back on track here. Let's start this week off with a bang. And you can get all my plays at goldboys.com. If you have a gambling problem, don't worry, Hunter Gambler. Thank you, guys.